Hey guys, it's the 300 Club tonight. Rescheduled from last night. Thank you so much, everyone, for being gracious enough to just understand that summer is crazy. But we're here with a subject that I feel like is the most important subject that we can do in network marketing. Like it's going to be a protein packed. It's not going to be a long lesson tonight, but it is the most important thing you can do. It is more important than knowing the ingredients of the products. Okay. It is more important than your social media presence, right? All of those things make you well rounded, but it is the most important thing that you can do because we're in a leadership position. Okay. So I feel like it is underutilized, it is free, it is something that allows you to get better and develop people quickly. And it allows you to get people into activity quickly when done well. Okay. I just feel like, and maybe, it like it has just served me well. I mean, it pays you back 10, 20, 30 fold when you are able to harness this skill. And you don't even have to be super good at it. You just have to help people like think about like what if, right? What could this be? Like if you didn't like what's irritating you the most right now, friend? And let them answer and say, what if you didn't have to XYZ? What if I could teach you exactly what to do to be successful to get you down the path of this, right? Um, so with when vision casting, you've got the opportunity to just drop into that curiosity. You guys know I love that. I love you asking questions. I think if you can get really good at asking questions, the leadership, the duplication, the guidance gets super easier because you're not grasping at what this person wants. You might think, oh, so and so is going to want this. But when you ask questions, you really understand it's this over here. And I think that a lot of times in this day and age of, just where we're at, and that, really there's that message around intuitiveness. A lot of that is wanting to mind read. It comes from kind of weird, maybe stuff that happened prior into your life where you had to kind of just like anticipate what was coming from people, or you did that to prevent yourself from being criticized or scrutinized, or we come up with all these methods around keeping ourselves safe, but it hurts us when we really just need to be curious with other people, right? Because a perfect example, we think, oh, who do we know the best? Oh gosh, we know our kids, we know our family members, we know our best friend from college, we know, oh, they wouldn't be interested, they wouldn't be, but guess what? I can tell you, I don't care who it is on this planet, you're always not 100% on that person. And how powerful would it be if you could be 100%? If you could know exactly what is driving that person, if you could help them satisfy every goal, right? If you could do that, and I'm in no way believing that you're not very connected partners or parents. But the truth of the matter is, if you tell me that you don't make decisions based on what you think this person is thinking from time to time, I'm going to call you a liar. Because until we harness this skill and we unlearn that, we do that because we're like, oh, it's just a part of keeping ourselves safe, whether it's at work, like, oh, well, he hates it when I do this, or because, that one time he was having a bad day, he snapped at you. Well, it created a neural pathway that you always do XYZ because this is what we think, right? Okay. So maybe I just want you to see that our brains are so interesting, but you can literally tell it what to do and it will do it with enough practice. So, all that to say, when you have that opportunity to drop into curiosity, becoming a student of the person, all of your weaknesses or perceived weaknesses go away because it's not about you, right? When I'm listening to what is happening with another person, or what this could, when I'm talking to them about what this could be for this person, or they're sharing why they need more options, they're looking for more, or maybe this is related to their health. When I'm really tuned in and listening, the personality flaws that may or may not be in place don't even have a spot to interject themselves, because we're just got one mouth, two ears, and we're not using this. We're listening, we're dropping into curiosity. And so when you do that, you're able to cast a vision, and casting a vision is, I see where you want to go, and I'm going to be the one to take, I'm going to be the one to take you there. I'm going to teach you exactly what it takes. And that might sound scary, but it's not. We literally have the formulas for this. 3-way messages, posting, reaching out. It's very, very simple. It's about just helping them connect to the idea around, if I add 3 people, this will happen. If I add 9 people, this will happen. And it's not even about the people. It's about getting somebody started and being confident that you can be the one that sends them in the right path. Oh, I know exactly how you felt. Here's what I did when I was getting ready to go silver. You're not going to teach them how to go diamond. You haven't done that. You will. But right now, you're working with people who need to, they're 10 steps behind you. So they're not looking for you to be more than 10 steps ahead. They're just looking for someone who's confidently going to take them to where you're bringing them to where you are. And we know in this business, that means that you go 10 steps ahead when we're working our business effectively. Okay. So our weaknesses disappear when we're really working with people and asking them and talking to them. Casting a vision is basically painting that vivid picture of what tomorrow could look like. That is exciting. And that's what it is, right? You had some kind of an epiphany when you started this, and something emotionally happened in you, and you were like, tomorrow could look different. And so I say yes to this vision that I'm holding. And right, we outline again those specific objectives and describe how to achieve them. And guys, it's one step at a time. It's one step at a time. I love the conversation about horizon thinking and big picture thinking and standing on top of the mountain and looking down. But, really all you have to do is just, okay, this is where we're at. Okay, this is what's next. This is what's next. This is what's next. This is what's next. Okay. Leaders cast vision. When you can get really good at listening to people and just talking to them about what's happening with them. If you've ever been in a 3-way message with me, you know that I don't talk much. I do not talk much. I want to hear what that person has to say, because it doesn't matter my experience. I will, if this is a level 1 of mine, like maybe I've shared it, maybe they saw that, or maybe I'll get to share that down the road, but they're not going to emotionally buy because of your experience. They're going to buy because they believe you're creating a new tomorrow, whether that's with their health or with their finances. They're buying that thought. This will help tomorrow because today is suboptimal. That's what that is. You cannot cast appropriate vision without knowing someone's goal. So that goes back to that why workbook that I've shared about. Okay, I've shared that with you. You need to know your own, and you probably need to do it every 6 months, and you need to stay sharp on what is going to get you moving even when you don't feel like it. Your why, when you know what you're doing, it can keep you moving when you don't feel like it. If you believe that, what has it been, 10 years for me? That's 3,600 days. Do you think I felt like it every time? No. But the why keeps you moving. And that's what I want you to do, is understand your own why. Understanding and casting vision for yourself is the first step. Right? And you might have a leader that has talked to you about that, and you're talking about it, and what are you going to wear when you're an emerald, and how's it going to feel when you're on that ship, and tell me about it, and the sand in your toes and all the things. And you also get to reinforce it with yourself. And when you get a clear vision of where you're going to go, right? Maybe you're like, I'm getting on that Bahamas trip. Like, I'm going on that trip, guys. I mean, I'm going on that trip. You know that you're doing it. Then everybody that you work with, it's like, I'd like to make a little extra money. Hey, better than that, do you think you could see yourself on a free cruise? Because I'm going and we can do it together. I'm going to have the steps that I'm following and you can follow them too. That's what that is. That's all it is. You don't have to be a gajillion star diamond to add value and cast vision. Think about, you get vision casted to you all the time. Oh, what if we painted this room black? Oh, what would that look like? How would our mood change? What, blah, 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 right? It's all the time. And it's just refining that skill and it's using it in this business on a regular basis. And you need to write down the why of the people that you're working with, because they're going to quit. They're going to be willing to quit on themselves. And it's not because they're weak minded, because I kind of want to quit on myself sometimes too. It happens to everybody, but you get the opportunity to remind them, hey, I know that this is hard right now. And I know that you hit a ruffle, but I sure don't want you to give up, because I know that you taking your husband on that cruise is a really big fucking deal. I don't want you to quit this vision on a bad day. I don't want you to quit your vision on a bad day. Okay. And Plexus is basically a vision vehicle. That's all it is. Okay. That's all it is. So you need to fill that workbook out. If you haven't done it, fill it out. If you want to share it with me, share it with me. If you want to share it with your upline, share it with your upline. If you want to share it with no one, you want to light it on fire, I don't really care. But I think it's really important to go through the motions, right? What could be different with our money situation? What could be different with my vacationing situation? It walks you through it. That entire packet is awesome. It is well put out. And I think that Shannon, you put something about it. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So she's walking through this with a leader, you guys. And if you look at her comment, she says that they were, by the end of it, they were crying together. And it's not about emoting necessarily. I mean, I love to emote. We all know those, but like, it's not a matter of getting those tears. It's a matter of touching the person to where who knows what's going to happen. Right. And that's really, really important, Shannon. I'm proud of you. All right. So if you don't know where you're going, you can't take anybody with you. Do we get it? Right. That's why I'm really clear on what my goal is. I say it as much as I can so everybody knows, here's where I'm going. I'm looking for 2 jewels by next convention. I want to grow 2 jewel teams by next convention. And I'm running with everyone I can to make that happen, because I believe it's possible if I show up and I link arms and I do the things. I want you guys to know where I'm going. Right? Some leaders don't, I don't want to, they're going to think this, if somebody has joined you in business and they think that you're out to whatever, they're not the one. Okay. They're not the one. Right? Or they can soften. Maybe they've had a bad experience. And all that's going to happen is you're going to keep showing up in authenticity, and they're going to get to change their mind, because you know who you are. You know why you're here. And you just want other people to grab their own vision and go with you. So I loved this. I saw this. It was so good. Your team doesn't drift into clarity. Your team doesn't drift into clarity. We provide it, right? Here's where we're going. Here's where we're going. Here's where we're going. When I meet with my level ones, I'm like, okay, this is the next step. Here's how, let's figure out how we're going to do it. And what's your idea? And we what's called reverse engineer it, but that's the vision. That's where we're going. Right? And when I say we, I mean we on that call. That's where we're going. And how are we going to get there? Right? And as a larger team, I want you to be telling, this is where we're going. Guys, we're rowing together. We're using these. Maybe you're implementing something new with your systems. Maybe you're leaning into corporate things, whatever it is, communicating that. It gives people confidence on following you. Vision creates energy. Notice what happens when you get off a coaching call. Why? You're like raring to go. You're like, can't stop me. You're like Roadrunner. Let's can go. Right? It's because you know where you're going. It's because you have figured out where you're going, figured out how you're going to get there, worked with somebody who cares about you and is like, yes, this is possible. Somebody said, you can do it. I know you can do it. This is how you can do it. This is ways you can do it. Here's resources to do it. Brilliant. Okay. Vision also elevates leadership. When you have to tell somebody where you're going and you got to help them get where they want to go, you come up here and they meet you every time. Guys, this has a lot to do even with your children, right? Here's the vision I have for today. Here's the vision, right? Well, you want a clean house, but you want it to be lazy. But guess what? Vision creates leadership. Here's the vision of how we're going to get our clean house today. And I'm going to join you. Or this is how it's going to look. And this is what it's just an elevator. Literally, it takes you to the top because it provides this necessity of you showing up at your highest to create the vision, right? And walking with them, that's a totally another thing. But I see people on here that are walking the walk, so I don't feel like we need to talk about that or lean into that. But you know, regarding the questions, and we kind of talked about dropping into curiosity at the very beginning. You guys know that's like my favorite term other than open-ended questions, right? Let's get that tattooed on our forehead. But it's something that you know, all you have to do is practice some questions that you really enjoy learning the answer to, right? And I really do feel like that packet contains great ones, right? So maybe you're not going to go through the whole packet with them. Maybe it's something that when you have these new business builders, you send it over to them. I sent one today. I sent it today, right before we got on this call. I said, hey, fill this out. Love to hear what you have to think. You know, I don't know if she's going to do it, but we'll see, you know? But, you know, learning and being a student of people, you know, it's like when you've got all the information, you have all the power, right? And it's not a power grab, but having all the information gives you the power. A question that I love to ask for brand new people is there an obstacle you feel like you're going to hit as you begin to do this? Right? Do you have a husband that is not supportive? Do you have a circle that's super opinionated? Do you have limiting beliefs, right? These things that's will tease out. Again, I wouldn't call that a vision casting question. I mean, maybe, right? It kind of goes in with that. But I think that, you know, the closer that you can get to just a really easily accessible script of these questions that, you know, kind of tap into the root of things that you can go to is really powerful. You know, vision casting is wonderful, but it's a muscle that has to constantly be flexed with people. Like I said, you need to be filling that out every 6 months. You need to be doing check-ins with your business builders every 6 months or less, right? If you feel that there's something that's changing or you're, you know, maybe they missed their monthly goal and you're like, wow, like tell me a little bit about what's coming up for you. How are you feeling about your business right now? Right? Then they, you know, you're going to get way more information by asking questions than having all the answers. This is not a business designed of like who knows the most. It's who connects the best. And I would say that's true of every top earner. I mean, literally our top earner says that she knows little. Like, you know, I mean, but she's a great connector. You know, she might not know the very best, all the things about the share cart. She might not know every single ingredient, but she knows how to connect because the information like labels and PV and you guys know what I'm talking about. All the administrative crap, that's like documented. Like we don't, that's not a measure of leadership, right? The best leader doesn't have all the answers, they find them, right? So please take the pressure away from yourself of feeling like well, and it's usually people who come in new that feel that pressure of knowing everything. Once you're in our culture for a hot minute, you're like, oh, I can find that. Oh, hello, boards app. We're good. Like, it's not a scare, but just anticipate that. If you feel like somebody's really, really excited, you've got their vision, you had that conversation, and then all of a sudden you feel the brakes pump, check back in and say, hey, I'm feeling like you're hesitating starting those messages like we talked about. What is coming up for you? Right? What's coming up for you? Directness is not aggressiveness. Directness is kindness. Because instead of directness, the only other thing that you can do is assume. Right? That's the only other thing you can do. If you're not going to ask a direct question, you're just sitting there in confusion, assuming that you know what's going on with people or whatever, and we're all, no one is immune to this, guys. You know, I'm giving you a talk on this, but I can't tell you that in the past week I've been like, oh, this is what she's thinking. I mean, you guys, it's like human being stuff, right? But these kind of calls are meant to get our rudder together, get us on track, unify us with where we're going. And I just really cannot say any more. And a great book about this, A Guy to Follow. Not a big fan of his voice, but Keith Callahan is great about vision, finding leaders. His book is called Build to Last. He does have a Patreon. I think I'm not a member of that, but he is on Instagram. He gives some great nuggets, but he's really about leadership development. You want to be following people speaking the language of the skill that you need to refine. Okay. And so he is great. He does do a lot of content around that. Okay. I wanted to give that plug. I make nothing obviously for that plug, but he is kind of tougher for me to listen to verbally. But I think his nuggets are great. And I think that it's really a conversation that a lot of people aren't having, specifically related to network marketing leaders having that conversation. We've got all the Bob Heigels and the people who are great theorists, but they haven't done what you want to do. And they haven't done leadership in an industry that you want to do it. Okay. Like all the way to the top. I'm sure that that's what everybody I'm staring at here wants. So, anyway, so just, I'm done. That was it. I told you it was going to be kind of short tonight. Really, really, if you have questions, hang on, I'm going to